Hi folks, it's John Nizman from lastchanceautorestore.com. This nice cold Canadian day, we're going to take this nice PowerWagon for a drive. So we're going to hop inside and we're going to take it for a drive down the road. So now we're inside this 1954 Dodge PowerWagon or M37 Canadian model. So what we're going to do is we're going to start it, we're going to go for a drive. So you turn the key to the on position. It has a manual choke and also a manual throttle. And then to start it, it doesn't have start with a key. In behind this mess of wires where my toe is, you can see that there's a start push button there. So the vehicle's warm. I pulled it out of the shop. So if I just step on this, it should start right up. And there we go. So okay, so now it's idling. So I mentioned we've done a tune-up on it. We'll show you the engine when we come back. So basically what I'm going to do, it's a 4-speed manual transmission and a 2-speed transfer case. So I've got the transfer case in high, and we're just going to take it for a drive. First gear is bull low, so I'll show you that it works in every gear, but then later when we go to make our turn, I'll just start in second because of the gearing. So you'll see a couple of important things. We have our volt gauge is working. This originally it was a 24 volt system, and it's changed now, so we now have a regular 12 volt battery. And then this is really important, that's oil pressure. So you can see we're running at, it looks like about 25 pounds pressure, and then as I rev it up, we're up into the 30 pounds, 34 pounds of pressure. So we've got good oil pressure. We're in first gear, and let's just go for a romantic drive. My wife Julie's running the camera, so we get to have a romantic drive together, eh honey? Okay, so, that was probably fourth. Let's try that again. Helps if I pay attention. That's first. There we go. So we live on a really nice back road or country road. So we're just taking for a little bit of a spin. We're not going to go crazy amounts of speed because it's been sitting for a while. And then we basically, what we did is we emptied out the gas tank, we flushed it and cleaned it. We've had to put fresh fuel in, we cleaned out and flushed the fuel lines. We put a new fuel filter on, and then we did a tune-up. And I'll share with you the tune-up what we did. When we get back, we'll look at the motor. I guess I don't need it before you go. So we're doing roughly, we're only doing about 40 kilometers, 45 kilometers an hour, I guess we'll get to. We're coming up to a really big hill and a really bumpy road. The truck's a little bit cold. It was outside and I just had it on for a bit, pulled it in the shop just to check the fluids and then back out again. So this is a really bumpy section in the road. So the steering is pretty decent on this truck. It's got the split wheel rims, which in Ontario are illegal now. They have to be a one-piece wheel. So if we sell this vehicle, or when we sell it, to restore it and to have it on the roads in Ontario, we need to change or upgrade the wheels. So there'll be a one-piece steel wheel. Right now they're two-piece. And the tires are off of a military vehicle. They're Goodyear military, U.S. military tires, and they won't pass safety, so they'll need to be changed anyway. So we're just basically driving along this we're 47, 48 kilometers an hour roughly. Rough road, lots of potholes and stuff, and I don't know if it'll show up in the camera, but you know what? There's a lot of wind and breeze coming in. It's a cool Canadian, we're early December. So I'm just going to downshift here into, oh, I see. I accidentally had the throttle in a little bit. Sorry, I wasn't paying attention. So I just downshifted into third. We even have a horn. Works well. So then I'll put the clutch in. I'll go down into second. And then I'll release the clutch. It's a really low gear. And then this is what us country folk would call the paved road. And because I don't have the dealer plate on the back of the truck, what we'll do is we'll just turn around here. Pop the clutch, get it in reverse. So the gearing, as I mentioned, is lower than you'd expect, which is normal for military use. Now we'll go back into first gear. Armstrong steering. Doing 21, I guess we're up doing 29 kilometers an hour. And then we'll shift it, so now we're into fourth and go down our romantic drive. So, as I mentioned earlier, this is a flathead 6-cylinder engine with a 4-speed manual. On the dash here, you've got a manual choke and you also have a manual throttle, which we've just labeled here with the 2 white tags. So cold start in the morning, or cold starting, we pulled the choke out roughly about 1 inch from the dash, and then the throttle we pulled out maybe a 1/2 inch, because you're not using the gas pedal when you first start it, because you got your push pedal up on the firewall. And then once it warms up, then we turn them down. So right now we don't have any choke or anything on. The revs on the motor, we're only running at about 1,500 RPMs at 46 kilometers an hour. And we're in quite a bumpy section here. It runs quite nice. This is kind of a fun vehicle to drive, I think. You notice the speedometer here, it's the original cluster. They've changed the gauges at different points. You can see the different colors and different brand of gauge. It's showing 34,000 miles, but obviously I'm not sure what the exact mileage is, because it is either disconnected or just not working. So now we're coming down to 40 clicks or 42 kilometers an hour, and we're in another rough patch of the road. For these M37s, they're pretty neat. This is a 3/4 ton 4-wheel drive truck, and it would be the equivalent of a heavy-duty 3/4 ton nowadays. And the camera, I'm sure, is probably bouncing around. Julie's sitting in the passenger seat. It is a little bit rougher ride than normal, but surprisingly, it's not as rough a ride as I was expecting. I thought it was going to be a choppier, bouncier ride. So we're just going slow here around the curves, because there's quite a few potholes on our dead-end road, but we're doing roughly 30 kilometers an hour. Still in third gear, and then we're coming up to a landmark here in outside the village here. This is Last Chance Autorestore here on our left. This is our neat little building. We got some couple of trailers and stuff in the way, but first building we built about 4 years ago, and you can see the big addition in the back. So we're roughly 6,000 square feet, I guess, of shop space. 22 restorations we're building right now, and we're staying busy. Here's our neighbor doing chores, so we might have to give him a little kick here with nice folks next door. So now we're basically, this is a really rough part of the road. It's not really serviced in the winter, but we haven't had enough snow here yet, so we'll kind of go down to where the barn is, and there's a boat launch and so on. So once again, this is a 1954 It's Dodge M37. A lot of people just call it the PowerWagon, but there's different versions of the PowerWagon, and this is the model of which I really like. This roof, insulated roof, being the Canadian model. So this was made for the Canadian Forces, and it was originally would have been green, a dark green solid color. And then all of the Canadian versions have this hard top roof. Now it is removable, it's bolted at the back, and they call it an insulated roof. Now unfortunately somebody, when they painted it this funny brown color, they painted it over this too, but this gives you a lot of options, because from what I understand, the American version of this M37 vehicle, they never had these steel roofs. So the Canadian version has the closed-in steel roof. The American version, let's put it in reverse here. You see how easily it shifts. I just have to get used to the feel of the clutch. But the transmission works really well. Everything shifts as it should. So getting back to the roof, being the Canadian version, it's insulated. You can see there's some cracking and so on, but the American version is just a canvas roof that's tied down and flaps a lot, where you got a back window, and the window, it's on a slider control, so it can slide, so you have some air coming in that way. And then it still allows these front windows to open on these hinges, so the bottom unlatches and swings open, or you can fold the windshield completely down. So it gives you some options in terms of the build. So now we'll just head back. So once again, I'm in basically first or below. So I'll just shift it in a second. We're pretty much stopped when we're going. And it shifts really smooth. So you can see on the label on the passenger side there on the glove box, we've got the serial number to the vehicle. Probably not going to be able to make it up on the camera, make it out, but at the top row of the black label, it shows model M37. And then I just wanted to basically take you for a drive. We're 49 kilometers an hour uphill. So yeah, because we're coming up to the neighbor's house in the country, but just wanted to take you for a drive in this thing, because a lot of people, they talk about these M37s, and it's with a little bit of work, it's ready for the road, or it runs and drives. But we just wanted to prove it, because most of the people that hire us to custom build these vehicles live far away from where we are. So it just gives you some extra confidence when you, if you were to buy this project vehicle, because you can see, you know, it's not trick photography. We have it, we're driving it, we did a tune-up on it, and you know, for someone who wants to have one of a custom build, we can do that too. So there's lots of different options we can go with. I'll just shut that off. So basically we can restore this to stock condition, or we can do like a resto mod or modify the vehicle. So a lot of guys we've seen have replaced these engines with a larger, more current Dodge V8 gas motor, or even a Cummins diesel. So there's lots of options if you wanted to change it from the original Army type vehicle. So I just wanted to give you a quick drive in this thing, and what we'll do is we'll just cut here, and then I'll show you the engine underneath the engine bay. So here we are at the front of this M37 Canadian version. So we'll just lift up the hood, and we can take a look here. Just set that up. So we haven't done too much work to this motor. We removed the carburetor. As I mentioned in the road test that we had when we drove this vehicle, we cleaned the fuel tank and the fuel lines. We removed the carburetor. We freshened up the gaskets on the carb and cleaned and rebuilt it. We've just done, so you just got a temporary zip tie. All we want to do is just have it as a lot driving vehicle for now. So you can see everything is all intact. You know, we've got the flathead straight 6-cylinder. We have new AC Delco plugs. They're fairly recent spark plug wires. So we didn't go crazy replacing a bunch of things. We have our see-through fuel filter because we wanted to make sure that we're getting clean fuel coming through. So we've got just that easy see-through guy. Looks to be the original rad and housing. So it's been kind of played with in terms of wiring because essentially these military vehicles were 24 volt and someone's converted it to 12 volt for the battery and starter and so on. And then you've got all of your power takeoff and hydraulic stuff is still there, and the factory winch as we mentioned earlier. So just wanted to give you kind of an outline of what it looks like underneath the hood. There's lots of room in the engine bay for an engine conversion. So if you didn't want to go with the original stock flathead 6 and you wanted to go with the custom build, then we can do that. And we were thinking either a 12, if you're going to go that route, we'd go with a 12 valve Cummins engine, or possibly even a second generation 24 valve Cummins, and it would be a fairly easy conversion for us to do here at Last Chance Auto Restore, because we do not only bone stock restorations but also custom and resto mod kind of stuff. So if you're interested in buying this vehicle, you can contact me. My email address is john@lastchanceautorestore.com, and I thank you for watching.